Hello and welcome to News Plus on Viewer Television. I am Faith Pius. The House of Representatives has appealed to the federal government and all critical stakeholders to immediately open up the National Food Reserve and commence the importation of grains, poultry products, healthcare and pharmaceutical products from top exporting countries in the world as a short-term measure to address the current economic hardship in the country. This followed a motion of urgent national importance moved by Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka to increase the food production, improve distribution, and ensure adequate access to fertilizers and crop diversification. Isiaka noted that the increasing trading, financing, and reinforcing supply chains as a vital tool will address the current cost of living price shocks. The lawmaker also appealed to the manufacturers, producers, middlemen, sellers of the goods and services, and other relevant stakeholders to temper justice with mercy, and to be very realistic in the aggressive manners at which insensate prices are placed astronomically on goods and services.
Also escalating on energy and hurting the growth of the economy. The crisis is potentially fueling instability, as witnessed in some parts of the country yesterday, specifically in Mina, Niger State. Strong and swift policy action is needed to mitigate the food crisis, cost of standard living, and human suffering.
There must be conducive environment created by government to encourage diaspora remittances and investment by investors from within and outside the country. And that is only possible if we have serious security measures on ground that can attract these investors to come and invest so that there will be improvement in our GDP.
A lot needs to be done. As a government, we derive our sovereignty from the people, but the same people who gave us that sovereignty are impoverished. They are living in poverty. They are living in penury. The people are sad. The country is not happy. And the primary purpose of government, including all of us here sitting, is to bring joy and happiness to Nigerians. I'm sure that some of us find it even difficult going home because of the circumstances and the condition we find ourselves in Nigeria today. Yes, you might not be directly in charge of the situation, but you are part of the government. And the least we can do is to say the truth to power and struggle to see how we can assist the executive arm, the judicial arm, the security agencies to improve the situation in our country.
The House of Representatives has condemned in its entirety the act of certificate racketeering by Nigerian students in collusion with some officials from ministries, departments, and agencies in Nigeria. This followed a motion raised by Honorable Abubakar Fulata on the need to investigate the allegations of certificate racketeering in the country. The lawmaker is concerned that the recent development has not only put a question mark on the quality of the certificates and capacity of graduates from these universities, but has also tarnished the image of the country's educational system. The motion recommended appropriate sanctions to serve as deterrents for others.
Also cognizant that failure to identify and prosecute institutions involved in certificate racketeering, their mirrors, their masterminds, and students could harm Nigeria's social, political, and economic development, encouraging patronage and posing a threat to country's development.
In other developments, the House has mandated its Committee on National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control to investigate the basis and circumstance surrounding the ban imposed on the production of beverages in sachets and small bottles in Nigeria by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, and call for it to be put on hold for being against the letter and spirit of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. Honorable Pascal Bodike, who sponsored the motion, is worried that given the numerous economic challenges confronting poor Nigerians, the ban of the production of the said beverages will cause more havoc and cause job losses for over 50% of the Nigerian workers.
sachets and bottles, we encourage unscrupulous elements to go about producing such drinks and products without recourse to NAFDAC. Aware that the ban on the registration of beverages in small sachets and bottles will cause more hardship on Nigerians whose livelihoods come from the production and sale of such beverages. And we, in the long run, plunge more Nigerians into unemployment and economic hardship and cause them to suffer more.
The House, in a motion by Honorable Jesse Okey, has urged the Federal Road Safety Commission and Nigerian Police to enforce the law on the use of sirens on Nigerian roads and clamp down on all those who are not entitled to use sirens for necessary sanctions to serve as deterrent. Edun and his counterpart in the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, have assured Nigerians that the high cost of living being witnessed by Nigerians is currently being addressed. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Kadoso, and the chairman Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, joined the ministers to allay the fear of Nigerians about the current inflation. The report.
The rising cost of living is a significant concern for many individuals and families, impacting their financial well-being. The increase is attributed to various factors such as soaring housing prices, agricultural produce, escalating education and healthcare costs, and income disparities. The economic team of President Bola Tinubu, who spoke when they appeared at the Green Chamber of the National Assembly for the sectoral debate organized by the House, said the country is where it is at the moment due to a series of economic policies over the years, adding that the cost of living has spiked as a result of inflation. The Minister of Finance called on Nigerians to be calm, confident, and have faith in the ability of the government to turn around the economy for the citizen to prosper.
The Central Bank has said what is being done. He has announced his targets for inflation, and the fact that inflation targeting will be a key element of the strategy, which is right because they're in charge of the targets of monetary policy. But in addition to that, when you look at inflation, a large element is food inflation. In fact, food inflation accounts for 33% of the consumer price index. So when you attack food production, raise food production, you bring down the price of food, you bring down inflation, you get a chance to bring down interest rates, and there lies the road to investment.
The Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, also speaking on the state of the economy, said the current economic challenges faced have been looked into with strategic plan to resolve the challenge.
This challenge does not come unanticipated. We reckon with global challenges that are impacting us domestically, and we reckon with the transitional nature of some of the measures that we have taken. We know that they will have some impacts. But there are compensatory mechanisms. One of it is to support domestic production.
Similarly, the Apex Bank boss, Olayemi Kadoso, in his submission noted that the high cost of living still remains a concern. He stressed that the CBN is working to bring lasting solutions and reduce the inflation to 21.4% through improved agricultural productivity.
Inflation pressures may persist, albeit temporarily, but are expected to moderate significantly by the fourth quarter of 2024. Exchange rate pressures are also expected to reduce with a smooth functioning of foreign exchange markets. We are committed to implementing policies that will ensure a stable macroeconomic environment and guarantee improved livelihoods for all Nigerians.
The Executive Chairman of Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, said that the federal government has no plans to increase tax, but to re-strategize in ways that will yield positive and more results.
The promise of Mr. President that we are not going to introduce additional tax. We are not going to increase any tax considering the situation and welfare of our people. That what we need to do is to re-strategize within to make sure that we bring more people into tax net. So without increasing the tax rate, that will be able to meet the target.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Kalu, said it was imperative to recognize the urgency and importance of the agenda before it. He said they must also confront the stark realities of the economic, physical, and revenue challenges that the country is currently facing.
We must adopt to address the multifaceted challenges that confront us. Through synergy, we can align our strategies, consolidate our efforts, and amplify the impact of our initiatives. In the face of global economic shift and domestic challenges, it is clear that robust reform measures are not just beneficial but imperative. We are at a pivotal moment where the decisions we make and the policies we implement will impact the lives of millions of Nigerians.
By implementing these strategies of the ministers, it is possible to mitigate the negative impact of high cost of living on individuals and families.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has trained and distributed farm input to 250 smallholder farmers in Kaduna State to boost food production. The permanent secretary of the ministry, Temitope Fadeshemi, made this known at the Training and Empowerment Program in Kaduna. The training was part of the National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy across the nation. Represented by Bashiru Abdulkadri, Director, Department of Extension Services, Fadeshemi said the program was part of government's dedication to addressing poverty at its grassroots. He urged the farmers to embrace the opportunity to build a future where smallholder farmers are not just beneficiaries of progress but active contributors to the nation's growth. The permanent secretary further charged them to absorb the knowledge, hone their skills, and apply the insights gained to elevate their farms and communities. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, Bishop Stephen Adebite, has sought the cooperation of the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, to facilitate the issuance of visas to intending pilgrims for the 2024 pilgrimage exercise. Adebite made the appeal when he paid a courtesy visit to the office of the ambassador in Abuja. The secretary reiterated that Israel remained the destination for the pilgrimage exercise, noting that the commission continued to pray for the peace of Israel. He stated that Nigerians visited Israel so well, not only because of its spiritual impact, but also for agricultural purposes and exposure to the country's advanced technologies. The NCPC boss expressed his excitement to hear from the ambassador that Israel has opened its borders to international travelers and informed that ambassador that the commission would prepare to visit the country. And now we'll be going on a short break. More stories comes to you after the break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Plus. A federal high court sitting in Lagos has ordered the federal government to fix the prices of goods and petroleum products within 7 days. Justice Ambrose Lewis Alogwa granted the order's sequel to an originating motion filed and argued by the applicant and human rights activist Femi Falana San. The judge ordered the Nigerian government to fix the price of milk, flour, salt, sugar, bicycles and its spare parts, matches, motorcycles and its spare parts, motor vehicles and its spare parts, as well as petroleum products, which include diesel, petrol, motor spirit, and kerosene. Recall that human rights lawyer Femi Falana had approached the court by virtue of Section 4 of the Price Control Act. The first defendant is carrying out its duty to impose a price on any goods that are of the kind specified in the first schedule. The Nigerian Communications Commission has appealed to state and local government councils across the country to cut taxes imposed on telecom companies, saying excessive taxation would be counterproductive to the growth of the industry. The Executive Vice Chairman, Dr. Aminu Maida, lamented that between 50 to 55% taxes already imposed on telecom operators, it will be difficult to attract foreign investment into the sector in line with President Bola Tinubu's directive to the NCC. According to Maida, the NCC management has decided to embark on nationwide advocacy to appeal to states and local governments as well as other stakeholders on the need to reduce levies they imposed, especially the right-of-way charges and other multiple taxes. Maida made the remarks of the Digital Economic Complex in Mobara, Abuja, during an interactive session with ICT reporters and those from the National Assembly. He further appealed to the state to consider the long-term benefit that would come to them if they allow massive investment in the sector, as job opportunities would be created alongside other value chains in the sector. Workers of the new Nigerian newspapers in Kaduna have staged a peaceful protest over unpaid salaries and benefit for over 10 years. The aggrieved personnel further gave the management of the company and the committee saddled with the sales of its properties 14 days ultimatum to pay their benefit or face more protests.
More than 90% has been sold, and over 2.7 billion naira have been realized from that exercise. But up till now, we don't know our fate. We don't know where the money is. We don't know when they will pay us. And the management and the committee have also refused to address issues concerning this matter. We are praying today that northern governors should first and foremost compare the management of New Nigeria and the committee. The management of New Nigeria is led by Mr. Yusuf Musa Kontagora, and all members of the committee. They should immediately commence payments without delay.
Disturbed with the development, they say about 102 workers of the company have died while waiting for their benefits, some bedridden, while others have been chased out of their rented apartments, with a good number who cannot feed their families as a result of the untold hardship.
I'm appealing to more especially the northern governors, as how this communique has been read. Let them do the needful, please, to come to our aid, to come to the aid of the workers. Most of them are being ailing. Most of them are weak because there is no resources to take care of them. They should take, for instance, if they were in our shoes, that's the shoes of the workers, what is the means of survival? It is very...
The National Association of Nigerian Students has urged the federal government to take swift steps to avert fee increases and unfair policies in tertiary institutions in the country. This call followed the decision of the management of the Michael Opara University of Agriculture, Umudike, to withhold examinations from students who have not fully paid their school fees. While describing the development as worrisome, given the current financial challenges of Nigerians, NANS, in a statement by its president Lucky Emonife, urged the university management of Michael Opara University of Agriculture, Umudike, to reconsider its decision and find alternative solutions that do not discriminate against students based on their financial status. As it said, the policy was worrisome because many students and their families are currently facing financial challenges and may not be able to afford the full payment at once. NANS noted that by denying students the opportunity to take their exams, their academic future is jeopardized, which contradicts the principle of equal access to education. The executive governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, has linked poverty and unemployment as the major causes of incessant insecurity breaches in the northwest Nigeria. The governor stated this when he played host to the Kaduna State Elders Forum as they paid him a congratulatory visit over his recent triumph at the Apex Court.
We are amending the one that was obsolete, and we are going to also come up with a new skills trust fund in Kaduna that will also give a lot of opportunity for the private sector to get involved in working with us in addressing the problem of insecurity. We believe everyone is important because the problem of insecurity has affected every segment of our society, and we believe even the business community have suffered a lot.
Applauding the military for curbing the rate of banditry and kidnapping in the state, Governor Uba Sani says his administration will also give due priority to out-of-school children to ensure a secure state and region is attained.
Good governance is key. I said it always that many states in the northwestern part of India, including Kaduna State, we have a lot of numbers of out-of-school children. It's unacceptable. It's not right. Even access to health care is an issue that we need. It's not a privilege. It's a right for me, health care. So these are the issues we need to look into. Education is something that is the greatest level. We must educate the children of the poor to go to school, to compete with the children of the rich. If we don't do that, the problem of security cannot be addressed.
The Federal Capital Territory Commandant, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC), Olushola Odumosu, has issued a stern warning to perpetrators of incessant vandalism of critical national infrastructure to desist or face the wrath of the law. Odumosu gave the warning in an interview with newsmen in Abuja, saying that the command would prosecute anyone caught vandalizing public properties. He said, though the Corps has been arresting corporates following intelligence tip-off and security surveillance, the consistent rate of vandalism was worrisome. The commandant appealed to court to impose stiffer penalties for vandalism of critical national infrastructure to serve as deterrent to unrepentant criminals in the FCT. Odumosu added that an intelligence report showed that scavengers known as Bambola were responsible for most acts of vandalism in the territory. Now on international news, in Palestinian militant group Hamas has proposed a three-phase ceasefire plan that would stretch for 4.5 months to end Israel's war on Gaza. The proposal came in response to a plan drawn by the United States, Israel and Egypt and Qatar and communicated to Hamas last week. Qatar has been working with the US and Egypt to broker a truce and ensure an end to Israel's air and ground offensive in Gaza, which has entered its 5th month. Recall that on October 7th, Hamas militants carried out an attack on southern Israel, killing 1,200 people. The group had also taken more than 200 hostages, including Israeli, American, and their citizens. Israel's unprecedented strikes on Gaza since the then have killed over 27,700 Palestinians and injured more than 67,100 persons. Several aid agencies have also said that the besieged territory is dealing with a humanitarian crisis as nearly 85% of the population has been displaced. Ukrainian lawmakers have passed the first reading of a revised mobilization bill after difficulties in pushing through legislation aimed at increasing its military ranks. The military tentatively backed the revised draft of the bill on Wednesday. The legislation would lower the age of military service and make it harder to avoid the draft as Kyiv struggles to find enough soldiers to maintain its defenses against Russia's invasion. In its current form, the legislation would lower the age at which people can be mobilized for combat duty by 2 years to 25. It would also require potential military personnel who are abroad to have up-to-date military registrations. Obtaining such a document would be a prerequisite to receiving consular services, while the bill would also allow soldiers who have served continuously for 36 months during the war to be discharged. This would not be automatic. The European has launched legal actions against Hungary's right-wing government over a new law that allows authorities to investigate and prosecute people accused of undermining the country's sovereignty. The Sovereignty Protection Act took effect in December. It created a government authority with the power to gather information on any groups of individuals that benefit from foreign funding and influence public debate. Hungary's Secret Service can assist in the authorities' investigations. The law allows prison term of up to 3 years for anyone convicted of violating it. Opponents compare the act of Russia's foreign agents law. They say its broad language can be used to arbitrarily target government criticism. The European Commission, which monitors the application of legislation across the 27 EU member countries, had said Hungary's measure violates several provisions of the bloc's law and that it sent a letter of formal notice to Budapest, the first step in legal action. And that's all on News Plus. Many thanks for watching. I am Faith Pius. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.